lady in the audience who took her hand up. She says, couldn't we make a law saying they can't steal the money?
Well.
And you know,
Yeah.
I said, nobody thought of that. When they wrote the Social Security bill, I'm sure they didn't write a thing in there saying they can't steal the money. I mean, so that, and I've glossed over the details, but you know that's what the system was, and it never would have been sold to the American people if they believed it was something else. So the lawyers, no doubt, tweaked it all so that nobody went to jail for doing it, but that's what happened. The only solution, look, the founding fathers fought a war and got our freedom. They started a government because we have to have a government for things we must do in common, like defense and running the justice system and so forth. Then they wrote a constitution because every one of them was a scholar, most of them were scholars, and they knew what governments can become. Governments often, usually, become tyrannies because those who want power gravitate toward the center and work things out for themselves. They wrote a constitution to protect us from the government. The way they did that was they wrote down specific things the government can do, and they said, anything not listed here belongs to the people and the state. But the force protection, they knew that people were people, and they try to go around this thing like they're doing today. So they gave us term limits on the U.S. Congress every 2 years. And they put into the Congress the power of the purse. You cannot spend a penny unless Congress appropriates it. And if you control the money, you're a check on the government, checks and balances. So we got our freedom, our government, our protection, and we got a way to throw out the guys if they don't follow the rules. They're not following the rules. So we have the opportunity to get somebody new. Now, we know it's not constitutional, but you know one way to fix the problem. Take everybody in this room, you go out on your street here, you stop people till you get 435, you throw the Congress that's in there out, you put you in. The problem's solved. Because most Americans have common sense. And there may be somebody in the 435 you choose that is ready to steal the money from Social Security, but most of you won't steal, so you won't have it. And there may be somebody in there that wants to spend twice as much as you take in a year, but most of you know that you go broke doing it, so you wouldn't do it. Ordinary common sense. You don't need special people. You just need ordinary Americans with ordinary lives with ordinary common sense. And that is what the founders wanted in the Congress. These people are now living in a sort of a strange world. Their socialist ideas desire bigger and bigger things. They want to buy the land and put it in reserves. They want to fight wars, whether they can afford it or not. They want to do all these things. And so this year they're spending $4.2 trillion and taking in $2 trillion. And $1 trillion of it's Social Security, which they're supposed to save. So you have to be a little bit nuts to be doing it. You know that $2 trillion is $20,000 for every American family. This year, the overspending in Washington is $20,000 per American family, and it is all borrowed, printed, or otherwise accounted in our name. We have to pay it off. So I advocate that we roll back taxation.